So if you've been following my channel, you know I've been talking a lot about how 2026 is the year of disclosure. Things have just got real very fast. Obama has announced aliens are real. Trump has just tweeted that he's going to get all the government agencies to disclose everything they know about extraterrestrials. I'm going to break down exactly what is happening, how this is connected to what's happening in the background with the progress in the Senate and the House of Representatives in Congress. And I'm going to explain to you how what I've been talking about, this massive astrological shift into a new age connected to the shift of Saturn and Neptune, is all connected to this, and how it's all coming together for 2026 to be the year of disclosure. So what did Trump say? Let's just read the official Trump tweet. So this is coming from X, from the White House page. I've also seen, and they're retweeting the real Donald Trump's tweet. So what did he say? Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena and unidentified flying objects, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. So this comes on the back of Obama doing a podcast interview. I've seen the clip, you can find it on YouTube, where Obama says aliens are real, but they're not under Area 51. After this, Trump came forward and said as he accused Obama of disclosing classified information, and then has said after that, I may get Obama out of trouble by declassifying. So Trump has said he doesn't know if aliens are real, but we're going ahead with this. And so we've got to assess whether this is going to be real disclosure, or whether it's just this kind of thing they've been doing for years, where they just say, yeah, we're going to disclose, we're going to release the files, and then they just give out a few files that don't really disclose anything serious, and then they'll bury it all again. I don't think this is what's happening. So when we look at the Trump's tweet, just the energy of it and the energy behind what Trump's saying, I really do feel that he really is being honest, and or mostly honest, and perhaps not saying everything he knows, and he really wants to get this information out. So everyone's been saying that 2026 is the year of disclosure. It's come through in my channelings, it's come through in other people's channeling, but also it's coming through from a lot of serious government agencies. Dr. Stephen Greer, who incidentally started all this for me with my with the CE5 process, how it all started for me many years ago. He's heavily connected and working in the background with the congressmen, the Senate and the government officials in Washington. And he says all the information that's coming forward out of Washington is suggesting that 2026 is going to be the year of disclosure. I've actually got some kind of insiders I just kind of know synchronistically, locally, who have information about this, who are connected to the UK news media. And this guy's actually going to be in a documentary this year. He's actually... the reason he's going to be on it is because he's the only living person, apparently, according to this documentary maker, who has seen the full alien autopsy videos, which are real, and there was more to them. And he told me this story. I have to ask him permission before I can talk about him in video. So he's also been saying that 2026 is the year. So all the signs are pointing to 2026 being the year of disclosure. So like I say, in the past, they've been said, yeah, we're going to disclose, and then we're like, oh yeah, there's nothing really to it. A few months, this has been going on for years. Like the government said, oh, we're going to disclose, and then they just fob you off with some nonsense. So we've got to face the possibility that could be real, but I don't feel this is what's happening. And even if it is, it's not really possible to do that anymore, because there's so many people within Congress actually looking deeply into this now. And I know these guys are legit, and ladies, because Anna Paulina Luna, one of the most prominent figures in this, lovely lady on many levels, and she is really heading up the front of this, and she's a very powerful voice in this, and I know she wants to get to the bottom of it. I've studied a lot of these people, what they're saying. And so in the House of Representatives, which is a part of Congress, apparently, I'm not from the US, I'm trying to learn about the Senate and Congress as we fly on the fly. So the Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, the specific task force, often colloquially called the UAP Task Force, was formally organized to investigate government overclassification. And so these are the members of the House of Representatives I believe. But yeah, the House of Representatives. And so there's even more than I realized. So the main three that I know about are Anna Paulina Luna, Tim Burchett, and Eric Burleson. So I've been talking about Anna Paulina Luna quite a lot because she's been heading up a lot of these Congress hearings. She's really like a fiery lady who's going to get to the bottom of this. I wouldn't want to stand in her way. And I listened to a lot of her information. She's really clearly very legitimate. She's questioning, like asking real questions. She even did so on the night of, I believe it was 9/9 September last year, the 999 portal, because it was September the 9th, 2025, like numerologically 2025, 2 + 0 + 2 + 5 is 9, September the 9th. So it was the 999 portal. They had a hearing in Congress. Someone tuned in, must have orchestrated that. Maybe it was orchestrated from above, who knows. So I was talking about this as a big expansive portal, and I was having a lot of experiences around this time. And that period between September and December are always when I have my personal experiences, and it seems collectively we're having more and more things happening. And so on that 999, the 9th September 2025 Congress hearing, I believe it was the night before it or the night after or in the middle of it. If I'm not getting my thoughts confused, I'm fairly certain this is correct. Anna Paulina Luna basically did a CE5. They didn't call it a CE5 with what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. The guy who's I've forgotten his name. How embarrassing. But there's this guy who's really like had been having experiences for many years, and he does the meditations. Well, what is his name? I'm ever so sorry. But there's this really important guy. His name will come to me before the end of the video. I know it will. There's this. They basically did like a CE5, and the ships appeared in the sky during the Congress. Anna Paulina Luna. So she's well clued up, and she knows what's happening, and she's a real Congress lady. And so the Tim Burchett. So Tim Burchett is one of the most prominent UAP advocates. He has long alleged the government cover-up and pushed for the release of all related documents. And so there's Eric Burleson, deeply involved in questioning whistleblowers about technical specifications and reverse. Chris Bledsoe, that was the name. Sorry, guys, I've been in my head. Bledsoe Said So. Look, check out the podcast, Bledsoe Said So. It's run by his kids. Yeah, but Chris Bledsoe has been having contact experiences and filming them for many, many years. And he's been working with insiders in the government, like NASA have been communicating with him for years. Because when he first had the experiences, he I think it's in Australia, he reached out to the Australian government, and then like NASA approached him, and all sorts of scientific organizations approached him. And so he's working in the background. I believe he's in communication with Trump. And so he's kind of in the background of this, and he was involved with it. I'm not sure if he was directly involved, but he was there in the Congress hearings on 9 September 2025. And Anna Paulina Luna said she went out and basically did like, they don't call it CE5, but Chris Bledsoe says he does a prayer because he's a Christian. And it's very similar to prayer and CE5 is the same thing, meditation, contact. And so Anna Paulina Luna and Chris Bledsoe did like a CE5, like a contact meditation, and the ships appeared in the skies right in the middle of the Congress hearing. So we know Anna Paulina Luna is legit. Tim Burchett, like I just read, Anna Paulina Luna, she's the chairwoman of the task force and leading a voice for full disclosure. The other one I know now about is Eric Burleson, because he appeared on an interview on a news channel with Dr. Greer just recently, just a couple of days ago. They had the Obama, just like 1 or 2 days ago, it popped in my feed, and they had, this is where they had the clip of Obama saying aliens are real, but they're not under Area 51. Probably not under Area 51 anymore. They'll probably moved to another base. I think Obama knows. Obama kind of backtracked on a little bit on this the day after, under all the pressure. They always do this, don't they? They say it, then they backtrack. He said like, there must be alien life because the probability of all the planets in the universe or whatever. So he did backtrack a bit, but he said he did literally say aliens are real in a podcast. I reckon Obama knows. He's just you can kind of read Obama, can't you? And so, yeah, Eric Burleson, he was on this interview with Dr. Greer and a mainstream news media site, and they were talking about basically this giant. Eric Burleson didn't say where it was, but because he didn't want to mess up his security clearance because he's in the government. But Dr. Greer basically was in the same interview and said where it was. So basically, this massive UFO just outside, massive extraterrestrial craft that crashed just outside Seoul in South Korea. And they had to build a building around it. It was so massive that they couldn't move it. Apparently, there's a lot of these crafts, and they can't chop them into pieces because the metal, the material it's made of, is like stronger than anything we can cut through. And this, we don't know how big it was exactly, but bear in mind some of the ships I've talked to you about and that come through the channelings, like the Phoenix Lights and the Hudson Valley Society. I made some videos about this. They're coming soon. I'm still editing them. By the time I finish editing, disclosure will have happened, and we'll probably have had full contact with the way it's going with the editing. Now, it should be out next week, guys, talking about the Phoenix Lights and the Hudson Valley sightings, which I believe are connected to the extraterrestrial civilizations. I'm connected with the Yahyel civilization. And so I don't know if it was a Yahyel ship, but they have these massive, like, mile-wide ships bigger than football fields. Some people say like a mile wide. And this like boomerang-shaped ship, which is what I understand is the Yahyel mothership, was sighted over Phoenix in 1997 and over the Hudson Valley in north of New York in the early 1980s. And so these massive ships I've been talking about a long time, and it seems of one of these very large mothership style craft, I'm not sure how big it is, but crashed outside Seoul, and they had to build a building around it because they couldn't move it. And so Eric Burleson knows about this, and Dr. Greer was saying he's had inside information about this as well. So Eric Burleson is trying to do his best to get access to Seoul in Korea to talk about this and disclose this information. So the other people in the House of Congress, I don't know about these so much. So Jared Moskowitz, a key Democratic partner in the bipartisan push for transparency, specifically in the UAP task. These are members of the UAP task force. Nancy Mace has focused on the lack of transparency in the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARROW. I think ARROW was what that other guy that I also can't remember his name was a member of, and he's come out and he worked with the guy from Blink 182, and some people think he's an insider and he's covering up, but I've got no reason to believe that. He seems to be legit. Some people don't like it because they're posing them as a threat, but if they just don't know, if you don't know about this, you would think they were possibly a threat, and possibly some of them are a threat. I do believe, from what I understand, the majority of them are like love, light oriented, and they're here to assist humanity in a very positive way at this time. And so we've also got Robert Garcia, also a member of the House of Representatives in Congress on the UAP task force. Robert Garcia has emphasized that national security and aviation safety aspects of UAPs. And so Dr. Greer doesn't like a lot of these because Dr. Greer, like I said, they're all positive and they're just trying to instill fear in us and promote an agenda. I'm not sure that's necessarily the case. Do you know what I mean? A lot of these because there's multiple cases of them just shutting down all the nuclear weapons in the United States. It happened in, I think this is 60s or 50s or the 60s, something like this. They many years they would appear over all the nuclear weapon silos and just disable all the nuclear weapons. Because, if you follow my channelings, this is what they've said. They will not allow our planet to go into nuclear war because the nuclear weapons, one, they won't let us wipe our planet out because that just doesn't serve anyone and our soul's evolution. And they also won't let us use nuclear weapons because it interferes with other dimensions, the dimensions they exist in. And they've shown this repeatedly by shutting down nuclear weapons many, many times, particularly in the US in the 50s or the 60s. Maybe I'll make a video about that soon. And so, yes, so the Senate, there's also 4 members of the Senate involved in, in the Senate, the investigation is handled more behind closed doors through the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, SSCI, and the Armed Services Committee. So Kirsten Gillibrand, arguably the most influential senator on this topic, she has authorized the legislation that created ARROW and continues to push for its funding and accountability. Tom Cotton, current chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee overseeing classified briefings on anomalous incursions near military sites. Everything seems to be flowing very synchronistically with what I talk about before I even talk it. No, I didn't read this before. Marco Rubio has been vocal about the national security risks of UAPs and was a primary driver of the original 2021 UAP report. Mark Warner, as vice chairman of the Intelligence Committee, he has focused on the intelligence gathering gaps that allow UAPs to remain unidentified. So the reason I'm sharing this connected with like tweets Trump and Obama's comments is because like we've obviously got this slight concern, you know, that while what Trump has, you know, asked, what did he say? I will be directing, this is directly from Trump, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, and unidentified flying objects, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Another reason why I believe this is authentic and Trump really wants this, and it's not just another one of those, yeah, say it and then they shove it under the carpet again a few months later, is because he's been really clear on the terminology. Because you know, it was always UFOs, and then the government started calling them UAPs. And when they start changing terminology like this and creating new buzzwords, there's normally an agenda to steer a path in a certain way. But like, notice Trump is specifically saying aliens and extraterrestrial life, UAPs and UFOs. So he's trying to be like very clear. Like normally when they're trying to cover it up, they use very clever wording and only say UAPs and like very vague with their wording. So it's more easier for them to brush it under the carpet later. Whereas Donald Trump here has been very clear with the terminology, which makes me suggest again, and the energy behind it, just tuning in like telepathically, empathically through the energy of it. It does feel like he's being honest, and he really doesn't know. I don't think he's got. It sounds like he's being honest. I'm sure there's possibly more in the background that he can't talk about. Yeah, and so, but even if it was that kind of play, we don't need to worry about that so much more just because of all these members. I mean, that 10 members in Congress really digging into it. And I know personally for a fact from my own research, Anna Paulina Luna, Tim Burchett and Eric Burleson are really attempting to get to the bottom of this. Definitely Anna Paulina Luna, as she's doing like contact meditations under the stars and seeing the ships. You know, you really can't put that cat back in the bag, can you? And it's only going to get more eyes looking at this. You know, now Trump has said that everyone's going to be like, what? Aliens are real? Are you for sure? And they're going to start doing more research, and this information is it's like the cat can't go in the bag now. So they might be able to delay it a little bit. And I'm sure there will be people in these, you know, agencies that don't want it to come out. One, because they're going to look silly because they've been covering up for so long and a lot of embarrassing questions to be answered. And maybe, you know, they have honest national security concerns. I know, so in the Pentagon, I've heard there's some very kind of fundamental Christians very high up in the Catholic Church who believe that they're negative entities, demons, basically, use the word. And so I think some of them are, but they're in the minority, and they're not like this big energetic momentum that's here to serve. They're not part of the Pleiadians, the Octurans, the Lyrians, the Sasani, the Yael, Tau Ceti, the Andromedans, Orion. So the ones from Orion are a bit dodgy, apparently. So some of the block is coming from, you know, fundamentalist Christians or very, you know, cynical Christians high up in these organizations deeply embedded within the Pentagon. So there's a lot of stuff to move through, a lot of challenges moving forward. But like I say, that we can't really put, even if there is like effort to cover it up, and I don't feel that's coming from Trump. I don't feel it's coming from Obama. You know, Obama's retired now. He's obviously got to be careful what he says. He's already sounds like he stepped over the line by saying aliens are real and feels like he's getting himself in trouble. I don't feel like there's any cover-up coming from Trump or Obama. There for sure will be from some areas that still don't want this information to come out. But it's like they can't put the cat back in the bag because of like people like Anna Paulina Luna, Tim Burchett and Eric Burleson that are on Congress working day in, day out to get this message out to the public. It's all coming out now. 2026 is the year of disclosure. So why does this connect to the big shift, the big astrological shift, the planetary and alignment and planetary shift I've been talking about in my live stream channelings? When I start just chatting away at the end of the live stream channelings, I keep saying, like the last couple of weeks, that things are going to lighten up. There's going to be a big shift. The energies are going to get lighter. All this heaviness and this strain and this tiredness and this exhaustion of the past couple of months or past few years, past decade, is going to lighten up massively now. And this is basically because Saturn and Neptune are conjunct in the zero degree of Aries, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So Saturn has just been through I think it's about 35 and a half years, something like this. Don't quite remember exact figures. If it's 30 something years, Saturn has been in this cycle around the zodiac, like every 2.5 years or something. It moves to an astrological sign at each one of the signs. And Pisces was the last sign. Pisces is like ending, like death, ending, collapse of the old. And so both Pisces, so both Saturn and Neptune moved out of Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, at the end of January. Saturn has done it today, so super synchronistically. Like I didn't say disclosure was going to happen today, but it kind of has done in many ways. And so this is so very, very connected. So I read a little bit about what the meaning of these planets means. And then I'll explain to you why this is so synchronistically connected to Donald Trump now disclosing, and why this is a big shift energetically, astrologically, and why the energies are going to get much higher, much more expansive, much more transcendental now, and why it's not a coincidence that this is happening now in our reality. So in astrology, Saturn represents discipline, structure, responsibility, and limitation, acting as a cosmic taskmaster that teaches maturity through hard work and adversity. As the ruler of Capricorn and the 10th house, it governs long-term goals, career, karma, and authority, pushing individuals towards mastery. Yeah, so Saturn represents discipline, structure, responsibility, and limitation. So it's structure. This is the big thing. Saturn is very much, Saturn is known as Father Time, and it's very much structure. It's government, responsibility, limitation. It's the old way: discipline, structure, responsibility, and limitation. It's like there's screams government all over, doesn't it? Structure, responsibility, discipline, limitation. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, we have to structure everything, do it this way and that way and this way. You've got to be responsible. You've got to be disciplined. You can't do this. You can't do that. It governs long-term goals, career, karma, authority, pushing individuals to mastery. So authority of government as well. So it's very much to do with the kind of old-fashioned governmental structures, kind of the old way of doing things. And so this is why, like, it's literally like been a whole 35-year cycle of, like, you know, old-fashioned way, you know, a way of doing things, like a old-fashioned way. Like, it's been the same way for the last 35 years. And it was coming to an end. So this is why we've seen like a lot of collapse, like the government's like all falling to pieces in the UK. It's like, and this is because it's coming to the end. It's the end of that cycle. And so it's now moving into a completely new cycle. So it's going to be a new form of discipline, new form of structure, new responsibility, new limitations, new authority, new karma, new career, new pushing yourself towards mastery. And so also we've got Neptune conjunct. That means they're like lined up in the sky, I think. And so the energy is amplified, so they're all moving together. So they're both conjunct, lined up. So their energies are moving together. They're in the 0 degree of Aries as of today. This is Friday. If I get this video live today, maybe Saturday when you're seeing it. And so what does Neptune represent in astrology? Neptune in astrology represents the realm of dreams, intuition, illusion, and spirituality, acting as the higher octave of Venus by transforming personal love. Yeah, we all know Venus is the planet of love. Yeah. And so, but Neptune is a higher aspect of like personal love and romantic love. It's cosmic love and connection to the universe. So Neptune in astrology represents the realm of dreams, intuition, illusion, and spirituality, acting as the higher octave of Venus by transforming personal love into universal compassion. As a transpersonal planet, like transcendental, like higher consciousness, as a transpersonal planet, it governs, because the outer planets are like a higher conscious or expanded spiritual infinite self, and the planets closer to us, like Mercury, Venus, Mars, they're the personal planets connected more to our personal lives. As a transpersonal planet, it governs the unconscious mind, creativity, and the dissolution of boundaries. This is the important bit here. The dissolution of boundaries. It often signifies escapism, fantasy, and addiction. These can be like the negative side of it, alongside high-level artistic inspiration. Going more, spirituality and mysticism rules the 12th house and Pisces, representing the connection to the divine, subconscious, and psychic abilities. So divine, subconscious, and psychic abilities all connected to ET contact. Dissolution and healing dissolves boundaries, aiding in spiritual healing, but sometimes leading to confusion, deception, and naivety. So it's so it says here it's a 165-year orbit. So I think so. So Neptune has gone through a 165-year cycle, and so it's a massive cycle, 165 years of like spiritual growth and expansion. Like it's come to an end, and we're starting a whole new cycle. So like I say, the important part here is dissolution of boundaries. So we've got like Saturn connected with like limitation and boundaries and structure and authority, but it's now conjunct with this like higher consciousness planet, this expanded version of ourselves, universal love, like infinite love of the creator and our infinite consciousness. And that is connected to the dissolution of boundaries. And here we see synchronicity, the dissolution of the boundary of the suppression, the cover-up of extraterrestrial life on planet Earth for I think it's about 70 years, actually. Like we're looking at about 70 years since Roswell. This is when the cover-ups really got started. And so it's interesting. So that would be 2 Saturnian cycles ago was kind of when the Roswell cover-up started. I'm sure it's about this time. So here we go, guys. So disclosure has happened. Things are accelerating. This is 2026, the year disclosure. 2027 is going to be the year of open contact. I've been saying this for a while. It's coming. There's many reasons for this. The channel Bashar by Dowlanka kind of highlighted this for me initially. That there's also like CIA insiders have been saying 2027 is the year when contact is going to happen. Like for quite a few, this was an old video I saw. 2027 will be exactly 3 9-year cycles. I've told about this. I had my first main contact experience that I don't remember in 2009. I had a massive awakening, and something bizarre happened in 2009 that started really this whole path for me of spiritual insanity. The expansion and dissolution of my own boundaries. And so exactly 9 years after that, I was intuiting I was going to have another contact experience. Exactly 9 years to the date. Well, it was the equinox. 9 years later, they appeared on a Facebook live stream, and you can find this on my YouTube channel. And if you go back to 2018. However, on September the 11th, synchronistic day for me, I was into all that at one point. I had this other experience again where something crazy happened in the forest, where like I was gone and then I was back in a different place in the forest. I had like this missing time thing, and then I remembered in meditation over the next few days, about a week later, I started to get like visions of what actually happened on the ship when I was walking through this extraterrestrial ship. And I was first with like Tarhinio, my Yael counterpart, ET counterpart, sat in his like bedroom quarters on the ship, and he had like this towel over his head covering his whole face so I couldn't see him. And like I went into it and he showed me some very personal stuff I've talked about before, but I don't want to bore you all now. And after I'd gone through all this personal processing, I was allowed into the rest of the ship, or allowed to remember it. And I was seeing, distinctly remember on the side of this kitchen counter around the blue coffee table, there was this like 2.5 foot tall ladybird being. I now think that might have been like what's called a screen memory. Some of you in the UFO extraterrestrial, like got a lot of research, you might know about screen memories. They're not real memories. Looking back, this is more likely, because I've said for ages that I met this 2.5 foot tall ladybug being, ladybird, we call it in the UK ladybird, the red beetles with the black dots on the back. Like, I think he even had a hat on his head. I'm not sure. And sat on the side of his kitchen counter. I now realize that was probably not what it really was. It was probably a grey or a Yahyel or a hybrid. And this was a screen memory. We have these things called screen memories. I think they kind of project it on us to some degree, like can kind of project the image so we don't freak out. There's many stories of people seeing like 3 foot tall owls or squirrels. In the Steven Spielberg series, an amazing series about the abduction phenomenon, that's very real and very true to the case. They have like these 2.5 foot tall squirrels like invading the house. It's an amazing series. You should watch it. It's called Taken by Steven Spielberg. It was on YouTube at one point. I don't know if it still is. Interestingly, Steven Spielberg, he had a lot of insider knowledge. He worked with J. Allen Hynek, who was on Project Blue Book for the government, and created the term close encounters. Like Close Encounters of the Third Kind was actually created by this guy called J. Allen Hynek, who was a government insider who worked on Project Blue Book for the government. He appears at the end of the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And now Steven Spielberg, they've got the same name, haven't they, very synchronistically. Steven Spielberg is releasing a movie that comes out this summer called The Day of Disclosure, because Spielberg's into this. So very synchronistically in the year of disclosure, that Steven Spielberg is releasing a new movie called The Day of Disclosure. Going to look forward to seeing that. Hopefully it's a classic Spielberg movie, as well as being very real and very true. So that's it, guys. Disclosure is really happening. Trump is disclosing. Obama is disclosing. We've got all these congressmen and congresswomen working like in public and in the background to get the information out. Spielberg's creating a movie. Like everything Dr. Greer has said is everyone in White House is pointing to the fact disclosure is happening this year. The Yahyel said disclosure is happening this year. Bashar and Darrell Anker said disclosure is happening this year. Everything is pointing, and it's accelerating even faster than I expected. I thought it'd probably start around summer, but it's happening already as we go through this Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the zeroth, is that what you call it? The zeroth degree of Aries, because we have begun this whole new experiential shift of consciousness into higher frequencies, the dissolution of the boundaries, the expansion of psychic abilities and our universal infinite love, and the end of a very contracted 35 or even 70-year cycle of extraterrestrial cover-up. So it's all real, guys. The truth is coming out. Extraterrestrial disclosure is here, and we shall see you all in another now. Peace, love, light, and Shabbai. Nanu, nanu. This is the movie. There was that met Robin Williams. Did you used to watch it? The Robin Williams comedy on the TV where he was in contact with aliens. Signing out. Nanu, nanu. Peace, guys. See ya.
We have observed your world.
Is that so? What do you want?
The truth.
The truth? I like the truth.